Yes, you know, it's a very hard question. Some people think about things like that. Unfortunately, I'm an engineer. You know, I'm always thinking about, you know, what's the task and how do I get it done. And some of my tasks are pretty broad and pretty fuzzy and pretty funky. But that's the way I think. Now, how would I mean, I guess the way I would think that through, to answer your questions, I don't have an answer. So let me think about how I would have an answer. Would be, I would ask myself, what are the real puzzles that I truly don't understand and I think are really, really important. So you know, let's just go back to those big issues that I described earlier. So I'm really puzzled by why people in societies find it difficult kind of to work collaboratively together with other people in societies. So I'm not sure I know who the right name is to pick to interview, but I think, I don't know whether it's religious leaders or whether it's some of the few political leaders that have risen above the kind of you know, special interest politics. I mean, I'm bad at coming up with names, but I think that would be one of the interviews. You know, I'm also fascinated by the sort of deep psychological roots of how a lot of these phenomena that I'm interested actually play themselves out. So, you know, I recently came across a body of work, a guy named Daniel Seligman, I think is his name, at Penn. And his work is labeled under the phrase positive psychology, and his whole body of work is how you can get people to kind of, you know, pursue their positive interest and work constructively. And so, you know, there's a great interview. What have we learned about how to get people to bring out people's positive side and their better side and their constructive side, as opposed to their fearful side or their jealous side or their, you know, ... side. So those are just a couple of examples. One specific, the other more kind of a generic category. But you know, I got to tell you, even for somebody like me who is very broad in my interest and I truly engage, you know, many parts of the world. There's so much to know these days that it's hard to, you know, keep exposing yourself to these new bodies of thought and fields that are. But I think over time, as my work develops, I suspect that to make the next set of breakthroughs, one's going to have to integrate some of these very human and psychological theories and thinking and understanding with some of the more, if you will, rational and organizational and economic in order to address some of the very vexing questions that I asked earlier, that we talked about earlier.